Good evening, everybody. My name is Brett Manson. I'm the chairman of the Lunenburg Sewer Commission, and I would like to open this meeting. And with every meeting start, we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we go, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's get back to indivisible. So I would like to thank everyone for being here, and I need to go read this. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar number 831-8724-9940. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. I'm going to do a roll call vote of the members and then of the staff. I'm going to start with Dan Proctor.
Here.
And Joe
Early. Here.
Burley. Thank you. Scott Dahl.
Here.
And Fred Ramsden is also here.
I'm waiting for it too.
And then with the staff, let's start with Andrew Valerie.
Here.
And Jane Greenlee. Did she say here?
Yep, she did.
Okay, very good. And then moving right along.
You forgot to roll call Arthur.
I'm sorry?
You forgot to roll call Arthur.
Oh,
you're on here. He's on here.
Arthur?
I am.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I haven't put my name on the.
All right, hi Arthur. I had no idea.
I'm here.
Yeah, I was expecting him here. Sorry. Thank you, Arthur.
You're welcome.
And moving along, is there any public on hand?
I don't see any.
And not having any public, does any commissioners or staff have any comment to make or announcements?
The only comment I have is an ongoing one with the opening announcements. So we tell people how to join in the meeting in Zoom, on Zoom.
Right. And I've always wanted that.
Because even if you're looking at it for the future meeting,
Yeah.
I guess
You
you could look
can
up the
see it on the
minutes.
public site.
the
That's where I
website.
get it, guys. If you go on the public site, Lunenburg public site, you go into the.
No, I know that. Yeah, the meeting
banner
note should be
there,
on there. They
that's
can click on the
meetings
link. I
and
just think it's
agendas.
funny that we read
I think
it.
it's funny too.
Oh, okay. I was taking a little. Okay, that's great.
It was
It's a great observation. I assumed as a lawyer that said we had.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, moving right along. We're going to jump into our current business. We have to approve the minutes for May 13th and May 27th of 2025. Did anyone have a chance to review those minutes?
I didn't.
I myself did.
I mean, I read them, but we were
Yeah.
not at that meeting, or I was
Oh,
not
yeah,
at that
yeah.
meeting, so I can't really say that that's what was said, so.
You're actually not even required to say aye if you weren't at the meeting, so.
Yeah.
Moving right along, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for May 13th and May 27th?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for both dates.
I'll second the motion.
Right, the motion's been made, it's been seconded. Roll call vote. I'm gonna ask for Scott Hurley. Joe Hurley.
Aye.
I'm pretty good.
I know. I was like, hey. All right, aye.
And I for myself, thank you very much. And then we're gonna move into the business managers updates. That starts with the Dana Street repairs. Do you know anything about that, or would we have to wait for building?
So prior to starting to stage equipment, and they'll be on the job site soon. I just don't have an exact date at the moment, but we'll be starting shortly with that.
Yeah,
There was a crew there today.
Okay, all right.
There were two guys there today working on.
Oh, good, all right.
so prepping it. looks good.
Yep.
Yeah,
I looked over and just
Hard for
walked
you to
around
miss, I suppose.
and I introduced myself and, but yep, they were working today.
Okay.
Great. All right then, and we probably not too much to update about the manhole repair.
Not too much.
Or did they get,
There was
The new
some material
project
that was
manager?
submitted to Bill, and he's still reviewing that, so.
so the new project manager responded?
Yes, I'm assuming that he did, so
Yeah.
he sent some materials for submittals, and those in the process of reviewing them, and hopefully next meeting we'll have a update
That's good.
further on that.
All right, and then regarding the quarterly demands, where do we stand there, Andrew?
So I'm waiting until really the due date for the supplemental billing that went out.
Yeah.
So once the
30
due date
days,
for
yeah.
that is over, which would be on the 17th, then I can start running demands, and then we can go from there.
Okay,
And it looks like with a system update for Munis, we can
Yeah.
actually print demand bills on the proper billing
Like
sheet
station,
that that looks like our bills, so
oh, great.
instead of the old version, so, which should be nice, hopefully.
That upgrade's gonna pay for itself.
Hopefully.
Great, is there any more discussion to be had regarding that? Probably not.
No,
All right, so I know John used to always make it a point to ask if there was anything to add to that before we move on. That's why I do that. It seemed
Yeah.
like a good idea. Seeing as I'm now chairman, I'm trying to
Yes,
think
you
of
are.
my methods I'd like to go with. So moving forward, we'd be looking at the Wright Pierce NDPES permit. What have we got going there?
So we approved the scope of work that's to be done. And let's see, I mean, they're gonna be in touch with us for proposal for next year's requirements for 2026. So that's in progress as well, and that was signed off on. I do have what's gonna be done, if you guys want to take a look at it, you guys can just as. If there's any questions.
Right, PS does a lot of our engineering.
Yep.
Oh, yes, they do a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, we like contractors.
Is this
with them
for,
a certain time.
specific area, or is this the whole
Yeah,
town?
It's just the whole
Okay.
contract, or,
they've been our go-to engineer firm since I've been on. And we've had pretty good results. Every now and then they throw some prices out there that. make
that's
us-
the only negative part, but other than that, they've
Yeah.
been very good with us.
But they're pretty thorough.
Thorough.
They do, they are attentive, that's.
Well, now that they've been doing it forever, but they're reputable, do we ever? Not bid it out, but just bring in another quote?
We could, I mean, that's something I can ask Bill, but I think right now, we just feel comfortable with them because we know that the work is not, we won't really have any issues with them.
No, I understand that, I just figure when,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the public a quick rundown of what we're looking at here. We're looking at, service agreement, potential with, Wright Pierce, this is the contract. Agreement, project administration and management, up to 4,400. Annual NPDES report, March 2026 is 3,000. Collection system mapping, is 54 hours, and expected to be 54 hours, $7,800. Collection system O&M plan, 84 hours at 13,700. And adaptation planning, component number 1, they're expecting to need to spend 326 hours on that at 54,900 with a total of 83,800.
what's involved in the mapping?
For the sewer system,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean,
Sounds
it's. They have to remap it every year?
Just to make sure everything's accurate, because you know, the maps do update, especially if there's new connection.
Mhm.
Also, just, you know, just to make sure everything's accurate.
So every new connection gets mapped.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Very good. How many hours was on the mapping?
84.
84.
84.
Yep. No, mapping is 54, sorry.
Oh, 54.
Collection is 84.
They did that, what, every 3 or 4 years, something like
And
that?
they just you know, are they remapping the whole town, or are they just adding on to their existing?
And probably going back and making sure that it's just accurate for us, you know, because we have to make sure that we have everything mapped out accurately.
Yeah.
As a percentage, you know, off the top of your head, how many houses are not tied into sewer, that sewer goes by their house and there's stuff left there?
Oh, gosh, I think
That are on the line that aren't on?
there are,
Yeah.
there are a few, what would you say,
It's a pretty big number.
That still are not. hooked
They're
up.
on the line?
yeah.
Yeah, but Bill had mentioned that a lot more people have just been coming on, I think, with,
They have been,
once the
gradually.
septic's up, yeah.
Yeah, gradually, yeah.
I don't know that number off the top of my head. I wanna say it's
Sorry,
around.
unfortunately. We'll find that out though.
Yeah, we've got room for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
throwing in a pitch there.
Mhm.
We do have a report.
We've got room for you. You can join the sewer line, the people that are on it that aren't actually attached.
yeah.
It was partly a joke. We're moving on now.
I get it.
Um,
Hey, you gotta facilitate business.
all right, before we go talking about future agenda items, I was curious, has there been any inquiries for new people joining the system over the last week or two?
Yeah, a few phone calls here and there, like I said, what Scott just touched upon, end of life for their septic system, and then once, you know, that happens, you know, they wanna see what their fee is gonna be for them to hook into the system, so we've had a few phone calls in regards to that, so.
Very good.
Along those same lines, I had talked to Bill a while ago about these ADU.
Oh, yeah,
units. And whether there was gonna be like additional fees from the sewer department if someone has an ADU unit. Was that ever discussed? I mean, I was just curious if any type of policy.
For the layman, what's an ADU unit?
Auxiliary dwelling unit.
Okay,
So part of what's happening with all the new regulations and housing and what have you, you can have an existing house.
Yeah.
And you can have an ADU. It
okay.
can be up to 900 square feet.
Oh,
And I had a client ask about an ADU over on Kimball Street.
okay.
And she's already tied into sewer, upgrading
And
it.
that's-
She's gonna make an ADU out of the garage
Yeah,
and then tie into it, so she was proposing, so I just wasn't sure how that was gonna work as far as fees. In other words, was it gonna be another, you know, bedroom tie-in fee?
that's interesting too, cause that also comes up with
Mhm.
something we were talking before about the existing, the 20-year ago proposal of the town of, we were talking about, okay, well, what exactly are we supposed to be doing?
Right.
Are we protecting, are we, trying to expand, you know, how much, we don't wanna
Right.
overwhelm the system, but that's, you know, like you're saying, that's a whole new thing that hasn't been in any,
Right.
project, and then, you know, and quickly, you know, I see online about the, whatever that planning thing is, requirement, because we're close to the T proximity, that we have to allow multi-dwelling units. So there's another thing, you know.
It's statewide anywhere at this point, you can't stop you from doing it.
Right.
Well, they're saying it's a requirement, and I was just, you know, kind of shocked by that, just because it was a proximity thing, but.
Right.
The water,
But what kind of, you know, what's gonna happen now? We're gonna have a bunch of triple deckers going up, and we're gonna have some of all over again, you
the
know,
water usage would
And
be
it could very well
automatic.
be. you know?
yeah, exactly.
The water usage would be automatic, it's whether or not we be allowed to or want to charge an additional fee when that building gets rezoned to be two dwellings, should we charge a fee to come online?
Right, and I remember a long time ago, Bob LaFave was the secretary, and I asked her that, 3-bedroom house, someone pulls a building permit to add on, and now they're
Mhm.
gonna make it a 4-bedroom, does the sewer department now hit them up for another, bedroom count? And the answer was always no. It was originally, a 3-bedroom house and what have you. I mean, I don't know that I totally agree with that, in the sense that if it's an opportunity to bring in more revenue for the sewer department.
Well, I
is
mean,
that
it's,
something?
We don't have a.
it's gonna be taxing the system too.
Right.
And, and then if there's tie-ins or, whatever, better than me, but a bigger pipe is needed, for servicing the house.
Our initial fee doesn't vary based on the number of bedrooms, right? It's just a hook up to the building and then
Well,
a.
generally, and it's not unheard of at all, it's pretty normal for a situation like that where on the same property, you don't have to go hitting the main line. You can tie in too, because it's not gonna ever be divided.
Mhm.
So you tie into the existing line. From what I've always understood, unless there's a well involved, they generally do the billing in cooperation with the water department, do they not, Andrew?
Mhm.
That.
Yeah.
Right,
It didn't
yeah,
go
no,
up
I was
that-
talking more, so.
Yeah, but we're not-
What happens is, like, if a client calls me and says they wanna tie into sewer,
Mhm.
first thing I do is I email Andrew and I said, can you send me the tie-in card, and what's it gonna
Mhm.
be, the cost to connect? So then he does his research and he says, it's gonna be, 3,420 or whatever
Yeah,
that
there's
is.
usually there is a general connection, especially it's
Right.
easier adding another, bedroom or another,
Right,
So it does vary based
But-
on the number of bedrooms in the property, is that?
It does, after, in excess of 3
So there
bedrooms.
is something we didn't capture initially if the property.
right, but the original, when that whole line was put down that street, that's when they said, okay, this is a 3-bedroom, this is a 4,
I
whatever.
mean,
that
it
was.
is something
And
with,
then there was,
Oh, the
there were
federal line.
all kinds of other formulas, and some of them phase
Well,
one,
yeah.
and phase two, and.
so we don't know if there's a permit fee now for this, for the ADU?
Right, that's what I was asking.
So,
How
yeah.
is that gonna be
I
handled?
I would like to think that there would be, because it would be an additional.
Well, let alone this
Living,
ADU thing, if that's still, besides the other point that I just brought up, that obviously we're gonna be forced to build some. But with the easement of all the in-law property rules now, that you can pretty much easily build on your property. Now, and, they talked about it at length at the town meeting, just with the federal government's trumping it and trumping the state on it, and you can just pretty much, the town codes don't mean too much.
Right.
You don't need that required insulation depth and
Right.
That stuff. So I think and if the property values keep going the way they are, I could, and the salaries keep going the way they are, I can see that there's gonna be a lot more
It's
people
gonna happen.
looking. Yeah.
It really is, because it makes sense, like
I
you say.
visited somebody's house at Lake Shirley that was living in an in-law in
Yeah.
the basement
No,
of a Cape cottage.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, and I think, we should be kind of planning for it, that, and I don't even know how we make those policies.
Yeah, who would approve
Is it,
that?
is it just a meeting amongst us, does that have to be town meeting? I don't know how that works, I guess.
I honestly see it as another form of affordable housing without having to put up big giant buildings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it's.
No, that's fine, but we're talking about,
Yeah,
we
no, I'm
probably
talking
at
about
this
the
point,
fees
we.
and whether we're gonna.
I would assume.
$500 or a flat rate or
Yeah.
something,
I mean, it's putting more weight on the system that's not, like I said, in the original design of the system. And I know Bill has said, well, the systems, can handle all this.
It's overbuilt.
But you don't, no, I mean, I drive around town and like I said, I haven't been here that long, but I was driving, just driving around the other day and I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff being cleared and put up, and I was like, oh, I'm still in Lunenburg. I was like, oh, and so it's maybe even something that has to go, for the permit fee, I don't even know, to the
Right.
building permit, I don't even know.
Is there a
That's a good
different
question.
hookup fee for such a building?
I don't have those incorporated into anything.
No, it's fine,
So
but I mean, I'm
due.
only saying it.
A separate building to me is an obvious, yes, there should be a
But
fee.
yeah,
Changing removing walls
I
within
mean,
your
if it's
house.
one bedroom, it's
From a
one
three
thing,
to a
but if-
four, or whatever, maybe not, but a separate
Yeah.
building.
yeah,
should have-
especially these in-laws and stuff now, where they're probably gonna be coming up, or, you know, they're. Look, I'm from a place where every little cottage, you know, oh, one common wall, and then it goes up 3 floors, and you're 6 feet away from a property line.
Yeah.
Do I want this town to turn into that? No, that's why I moved out here, but it's also a way, you know, look, I have no idea what the permit fee would be. I don't even know what the regular permit fee is to tie in, but it should be something, if anything, it'll take some of the onus off the taxpayers, you know, somewhere down the road, you know, it's almost, you know, I hate to say it this way, but it's almost found money, you know, and it'd be interesting to see what other towns do too. I can't see that many people don't, you know, there's permit fees for everything.
Gentlemen,
We're
we put
unique.
this subject as something to talk more about
Absolutely.
on the upcoming meeting,
Yeah, but some of this is something that, you know,
Yeah,
Bill or Andrew are
we
gonna
can,
have
we can
to,
think
you
more,
know,
yeah, more.
It is unique that we're
cause this might be
we're
the
paying
town
for
manager.
ourselves and it's an enterprise system where if you go to a town where it worked into the finances of the taxes and the rest of the town. This might have been brought up automatically with permitting, but we're kind of off on an island that maybe people don't include us in the initial.
And fees go up all the time,
Yeah.
permit fees,
Yeah.
because they're.
And like you said, a separate unit, I'm not sure people would really complain about a $500 flat rate
Yeah.
or $1,000 flat rate.
I actually think
If they're
the
making-
contractor would expect it.
Right, yeah, what's it gonna cost to put this ADU to tie into the?
And I don't know that it's extra if everybody who has that bedroom count or that, you know what I mean, it's equalizing what other people.
Well, we may have to ask Bill, cause was it the last meeting or the meeting before that he was talking about look, I can't remember the name of the property, but he was talking about that they wanted to. Tie in. But they were talking about running it across the back of the property to, it was like a corner lot or something, and
Yeah.
he wants them to tie into the.
Yeah.
The existing
Yeah.
main system,
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, they're not usually fans of having easements
Having,
through
yeah.
or anything.
well,
like that.
yeah, so it's like, all right, well, well,
'Cause then
even
you have a
then,
spaghetti bowl
what
of-
did we,
yeah.
was there a fee? It's another unit on the property, so, just a question, it wasn't something we needed, we asked before, but it might be right there for us.
Mhm.
Yeah, hell, when you sell your house. Somebody's gonna come in, you know,
need a
especially if
little-
you're,
poking around.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
if you're on
saying,
a convenient line to the commuter rail. You know, they might be like, oh, yeah, go ahead, put a second unit on
Yeah.
top of your house, you know?
I got at least a half acre I'm not using. If we were staying, I'd be looking into it. Like 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, excellent. We're looking forward to having this to talk about in future meetings and,
Aren't you glad you brought it up?
hmm,
Aren't you glad you brought it up?
Well,
absolutely.
They're good questions.
Yeah,
I am, I mean, that's.
Well,
why we're here.
I know that question is gonna be asked a lot,
Oh, yeah.
because they're gonna take off.
This is good stuff.
Talking to some of the engineers, civil engineers,
Yeah.
you know, they're already starting to draw up some plans showing it, because obviously the building department wants to see it, so. If the property is serviced by sewer, then we're gonna get asked that question, Andrew's gonna get asked that question. You know, is there additional fees? So I just feel like, you know, we should be proactive
And
and
the
try to
tr-
have
and
some
the-
answers for them,
absolutely,
you know.
well, exactly, and this went back to something that I brought up 3 months ago, we were talking about that original engineering plan of the system of.
Yeah.
And then we get hold of, but you know, like you said, that stuff was focused around like the lakes regions.
Yeah.
And now we have other places that nobody thought anyone was gonna build.
Yeah.
So now those things tie in, well, now. That wasn't accounting, you know, the plan wasn't accounting for that, so now what if, now some of these people in the lake are all starting to come over. Or one of the lakes, you know, and so now. You throw this wild card in that we have no idea, what's gonna happen, between the two things, like you said, the ADU and the multiple unit dwellings. And I know that was pretty clear, cause I was saying, it's not Whalum. And it's not a single house, it's you know, we're talking 2 family homes or
Yeah.
3 family homes, so, I'm not sure where that goes or how it goes. I know the meeting's coming up in a couple weeks, but might have to go.
Like I said, what we have from 2023, our last policy is a minimal residential connection charge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the minimum would be 2250.
Mhm.
For any dwelling units in the excess of 3 bedrooms, the connection charge shall be the minimum charge plus an additional 550 for each additional bedroom beyond 3 bedrooms. So that is
But nothing addresses a separate unit.
So 550 if you're
yeah.
at a bedroom,
Yeah.
but I think, I mean, yeah, it's probably not the full hookup if you're not tapping into the sewer line, it doesn't make sense that would be the full.
Yeah, but the additional, an in-law is, well, one, they're drawing water, but that's not, you're just talking, forget the 1 bedroom, it still could be 2, 3 people, it's. Well, I mean, look, I've never been on septic, but I know they say the bedroom, but they also say, hey, well, don't have more than 5 people living there,
I guess our questions are then what's typical of another town, and if we do wanna add it, who needs to approve it? We make that decision independently that we're gonna add a fee, and do we need to run it by anyone in town council or anything like that, or can we add the fee and?
Well, that's a good question. I think, that's why I wanna put it on the next agenda.
Yeah.
And bring it up with Bill and Andrew, and do a little research for us on.
Yeah.
The technicalities and,
I mean, outside of our chair, the rest of us are pretty green.
you what?
Outside of the chair, the rest of us are all pretty green on the,
Yeah. And
on the legality, so.
I'm brain tired. But yeah, it's weird that I'm the most senior member here, because
Yeah,
it's just different. Moving forward, we do need to talk about the rest of what we want on future agenda items for our next meeting.
do we still looking for members?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I might have maybe one more meeting before I'm not technically a resident, maybe 2. I don't know
Okay.
what those dates are. So, but your 4 is enough that you can, even one of you can miss, and
I'm just wondering if we have,
There was any other
there've
inquiries?
been any inquiries?
There have not on
Yeah.
Lane.
Hmm,
All right, maybe we'll start the push again,
yeah,
start asking around.
asking maybe.
Arthur, you know anyone?
Send another letter.
Well, I'll ask around.
All right, yeah, you're tied in, you got 17 kids.
With
You
one
know
woman.
everyone in the school system, start asking around.
I will.
Very good.
it looks like next meeting will be my last, I believe. I close on the sale of my house on the 7th, and the second meeting is the 8th.
Oh, congrats, you sold it. Great.
I don't wanna jinx it, but.
Yeah, I get it.
Tomorrow we'll get a deposit, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be done, so.
Okay, great.
Very good, very good. So before we move on, actually, I meant to ask how the assistant is doing.
Good,
Andrew.
yeah.
Yeah, starting to learn some ropes, and it's gonna be a stretch.
Yeah, there's a lot of learning to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, but yeah.
But she
You
didn't
would-
have to
you
learn
would-
the old system, so that's good, right?
Yeah. I mean, this one right now, like I said, like learning by doing, and like I said, if yeah, obviously we're not in the middle of a bill run, so I can't,
Yeah.
that will come. So.
Excellent. So as far as what else we want on here, obviously we'll have minutes from this meeting, we're gonna have. We'll leave an update on Dana, we'll leave, the manhole repair IBF on here. Do we need to keep quarterly demands on here for?
Well, that's up to you. I mean, I just wanted to let you know when we should be
Yeah,
sending them out.
might as well leave it on and just,
Yeah.
it's good to.
Yeah, and then after the demands go up, be interesting to see, if the percentages drop.
Drop a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone will be
Excellent.
happy with that.
And then, of course, our new discussion.
Yeah.
Regarding the.
Bill picks good days to be off.
in-house add-ons if you want.
Yeah.
So, can anybody think of anything else they'd like to see on there? Obviously, Andrew and Bill will add anything they
Yeah,
feel is important.
Andrew, you got that email, right? From the police, the detail,
Oh,
the one that they reached out to me,
I'm not sure if I did.
I think it was I'll check my email, I guess there was a detail invoice, but they were sending it to Paula.
Oh, yeah, I
whatever,
did, yep,
so-
that's taken care of.
Oh, all right,
Yep,
good.
So, yeah.
I don't know, it's probably just the only name that was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the,
no worries, yep.
on the town site.
Yep, that went through and that's all taken care of.
all right, great.
Very good. All right, is there any public to make a comment?
No public comment.
All right, and any comment from commissioners or staff?
Mm,
I'd like to say thank you to our new members for being here.
Yep,
And of course, for Joe hanging on for as long as he can.
yep,
And with that, I'm gonna bring up the upcoming scheduled sewer commission dates. We have our next meeting is gonna be a 6 p.m. Zoom meeting on June 24th, 2025. Followed by our regular hybrid meeting here at the DPW on July 8th. And then our next meeting won't be till July 29th. And that will also be a 6 p.m. Zoom meeting. And then August 12th will be a 7 p.m. regular hybrid meeting. And now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn, gentlemen. That can be anybody.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second the motion to
Okay,
adjourn.
we've got the motion. It's been seconded. Dan,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye,
and I for myself.
Arthur,
Thank you.
you get Arthur too.
Oh, Arthur. I am
Hi.
sorry, sir.
No problem,
And-
no problem.
Thank you, Lunenburg, and everybody have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Thank you, Arthur.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Yeah, I know.